over here. Do I have a mic? I do have a mic. Finally. Ooh wee, what a day, what a day. You know what time it is? It is Keeping Up with Congress, where I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, I told you we will not, I repeat, we will not get reparations without negotiation. So we have to keep our eyes on what's happening in the halls of Congress, what's happening in the U.S. House, what's happening in the U.S. Senate. We have to know who the players are. We got to know the game they playing, y'all. We got to know. If you're following me right here on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification button, and share. Please share, y'all. You listening to me right over in Clubhouse. I see you, Joy. You listening, ping some folks into the room. You know, they usually come in a little slow. It is 5 o'clock. Most people just getting off from work. But we want to make sure they are in the room. They are in the house on Clubhouse. I'll come over at 5:30, from 5:30 to 6, and we'll chop it up and we'll catch up and see what's going on and see how we move forward. So I want to thank you for joining me again. You know who I am. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. So, of course, I always like to bring you some reparations information. What's happening in the news? What's going on with reparations? Y'all, I found some very interesting articles today. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'll make my screen larger for those of you that are following here on YouTube, so you can see the whole screen. Yep. You should be able to see the whole screen. There you go. All right. So North Denverites want to see reparations in the National Western Center's final transformation. So anytime I see that word reparations, y'all, right now that is really where we are. Those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery, that is where we are. And when I see it and it's being used by other communities, it just kind of, I know we don't own the word, but it scares me because it tends to kind of dilute our messaging. And this is an article about the indigenous community around Denver, around in Colorado. And this article is using the word reparation. So let's take a look at what's going on over here. It says this is a comment. It said, "This land was stolen from myself, family, and neighbors in modern times. This is the second home stolen from us in my 35 years of life." He goes on to say, "Today we come together to say no more. The only way to stop continued displacement is to stand together." Torres lived across the street until 1999, when the government scrapped his home for a new on-ramp to I-70. His family moved, then lost their second house after the city acquired it to make room for the new National Western Center. Goes on to say they were forced to move out, even though the building survived as others were raised around it. Authorities decided to let it stand as they explored adaptive reuse of the structure, which enraged Torres even more. He might have fought harder had he known the structure would be deemed a key historic property. So they kicked these people out of their first house. Now, then they took their second house, but didn't demolish the house, actually built all around it and left the house. And these indigenous people to this land, to this property, are not happy at all. He goes on to say his old home sits on land known as the Triangle, though the city now refers to it as future phases. Until last year, it was slated to become one of Denver's newest public-private partnerships, or P3s, in which companies help the city subsidize development costs in exchange for long-term profits. Members of the Globalville, El Riri, Swansea coalition worried about the project, which is part of the transformation of the National Western Center that encompasses a huge swath of North Denver. They saw plans for new entertainment venues as signs that this place wasn't for them or for the people who were forced to leave. They envisioned a future when the new attractions would raise property values to the point that more would have to move out of the neighborhood without ever benefiting from the new amenities. The Triangle P3 agreement fizzled during the pandemic recession when Denver's lost cash flow and Mayor Michael Hancock paused bidding for the development. The idea is not dead, but activists see an opening to change the course of history for this land, to keep historic residents in their homes and give neighbors more power in the decision shaping this place. They are putting forward an alternate proposal. So here we go. It says on Saturday, Torres's old front porch, they said it could be a moment for true reparations for people long displaced and disadvantaged in Denver. So when I see the word reparations being used, y'all, we're following it. I'm following it in the media. And he goes on to say, it could be a moment for true reparations for people long displaced and disadvantaged in Denver. And it is, that, these people are indigenous to this land. This was their home. They've been forced off. And reparations is the word that they have chosen to use to describe what's happening to them. So just be mindful, y'all. We got to just keep fighting. We got to be just as loud, because we don't want to dilute the messaging for reparations for those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. Another article that I found was about, let me get to the top of it. I thought I was there. It's about Virginia. The Episcopal Seminary is to pay $1.7 million in reparations to descendants of slaves. This is the Virginia Episcopal Seminary. This article talks about Linda Johnson Thomas. This is the granddaughter. Her grandfather worked at the Virginia Theological Seminary for more than a decade, first as a farm laborer before moving up to head janitor. Her grandparents lived in a little white house on campus with their 4 children, including her mother. But until 2 years ago, she had no idea that her grandfather, John Samuel Thomas Jr., had been forced to work at the school in Alexandria, just outside of Washington, D.C. She said, "All I knew was that he grew up on the seminary," said Johnson Thomas, 65, who lives in Mitchellville, Maryland. "We knew there were slaves in Alexandria, but we didn't know the specifics." The article goes on to say, for more than a century during slavery, Reconstruction, and beyond, the seminary used Black Americans for forced labor. Between 1823 and 1951, hundreds of Black people were forced to work for little or no pay on the campus as farmers, dishwashers, and cooks, among other jobs. Back then, the faculty members and the students also bought their own enslaved people. My. They bought their own enslaved people to college, to the seminary. This was said Ebony Davis, an associate for programming and historical research at the seminary. In 2019, the school announced it had set aside $1.7 million to pay reparations to descendants of slaves who worked on its campus. Earlier this year, it made good on its promise and began handing out annual payments of $2,100 to direct descendants of those who worked there. So the seminary is making good by sending out annual payments of $2,100 each to direct descendants of those who worked at the seminary. It says Johnson Thomas and her 2 sisters were the first recipients. 15 people have received payments so far, and the seminary is expecting to compensate many more as they are identified. The seminary started cutting checks for the descendants, whom it describes as shareholders. In this past February, the $1.7 million endowment is expected to grow and continue to fund future payments. This is not true reparations But you know what? I don't think none of us gonna turn any of it down. So these descendants of this seminary are able to get some sort of restitution. They'll take it, give it to them. Goes on to say the endowment acknowledges the seminary's past participation in oppression and comes as the school prepares to celebrate its bicentennial in 2023. Wow. Here's another part of the story I thought I wanted to share with you. You don't have good volume? Let me speak into the mic. Tell me, Brother Don, if you can hear me. Let me make sure you guys can hear me on YouTube. I hope we're not having any technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm closer to the mic now. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me well over here, YouTube family and Clubhouse family. So it goes on to say Gerald Wanzer has lived within 5 miles of the seminary for years. In 2019, he got a call from the school seeking more information about his great-grandfather, who worked as a blacksmith there in the 1850s. The seminary was founded in 1823, and Wallace Wanzer likely played a key role in some of its earliest metalworks. Wanzer said he was skeptical about the call at first, but 5 members of his family, a brother, a sister, and a couple of nephews, each received a check from the seminary this year. Goes on to say, Davis, the seminary associate, said the program goes beyond money reparations. With an understanding that no amount will ever be enough, we are allowing shareholders to be creative in their request. Some people are donating the money, while others are submitting written wishes, requesting it goes to others. The seminary is also allowing descendants to access the campus in ways their ancestors could not. That includes free use of amenities such as the cafeteria, the coffee shop, and computer lab. Goes on to say, so far the community has received this quite well. We had one family that was not interested in participating. They felt it was too little, too late. But I let them know that the door was always open. They better take that check, take it, put it in a trust fund for somebody in your family. Don't turn it down. But some people did, one family. Wasner has already taken them up on the offer. I'm glad he took his. In March, he spent his 77th birthday on the campus. The seminary took him on a tour of the grounds and made him a special birthday meal of grilled chicken and baked halibut with potatoes and asparagus. His children, grandchildren, and nieces and nephews came too. They trying, and guess what? We'll take it. I don't think we should turn anything down, but we understand that reparations is federal. Reparations is federal. Reparations is federal, but doggone it, let's not turn nothing down. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. Now, I wanted to bring you this article because here's where I tell you, when I see the word, reparations in the media spaces, I'm following it to see what's going on. So this one is about an all-black drag show called Reparations Moves from the Internet to Oasis. And I was a little confused as I read this. But there's a show. It says on Friday, July 9th, Nikki Jizz will host the first in-person show of Reparations, which proudly announces itself as San Francisco's only all-black drag show. Started on Juneteenth 2020 in response to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the subsequent Black Lives Matter uprising across the country, Reparations urges audiences to put your money where your black square is. I'm a little confused about this being associated with reparations being a drag show. I'm confused. It says everyone put a Black Lives Matter message in their bio, but immediately went back to posting thirst traps. Says Nikki, this is the performer. This is not just a fad. This is not just a summer thing. This is a forever thing. And we need to support Black arts every day. So you're calling the show Reparations in support of Black arts. Okay. Reparations streamed on the Studs Twitch channel until June 2021. Juneteenth 2021, highlighting Black performers near and far. I'm just confused. I'm confused about reparations being a drag show. I don't get it. Maybe somebody could help me because I just don't get it. But here's another article that I found about a reparations fee at a Black Pride event, and it sparks complaint by a rival group. I didn't understand this either. It says organizers of a Pride event in Seattle have been getting blowback after complaining about another event's plans to charge admission to white attendees only. Taking Black Pride, and it's spelled with the parentheses around the L in Black, a festival to be held Saturday. This was an article from the 23rd, y'all. But a festival to be held in Seattle's Jimi Hendrix Park announced that white attendees will be charged a reparations fee of $10 to $50, while the fest would be free to others. This is where our reparations gets confusing and messy, and I don't know what this is. It's Capitol Hill Pride, which is planning an event at Cal Anderson Park the same day, filed a complaint with the Seattle Human Rights Commission over the Taking Black Pride policy, saying it constituted racial discrimination. Taking Black Pride organizers termed Capitol Hill's Pride action racist and reactionary. I don't get it. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. Somebody will explain it to me at some point, but I don't get it. Like, okay, y'all explain it to me. I'm gonna take a quick commercial break. Stay with me, y'all. I got 2 new commercials I want to share with you. If you're watching me here on YouTube, you'll be able to hear it and see it, but you'll be able to hear it right here on Clubhouse. So stay with me. Stay with me, y'all. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website, that's tamara4georgia.com, www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress. All right, and we are back. So I wanted to bring you, I always keep up with what's going on with Congress, but on Mondays I get alerts about the different hearings that are happening in Congress. So I wanted to bring you an update on the hearings that are happening so you can mark your calendars and pay attention. I will bring you some more bills, but I don't think we're going to get through the bills today, but I am going to bring you some hearings for this week that are in Congress. So if you're watching here, on YouTube, let me make this larger so you can see it. Okay, this is HR 3684, Invest in America Act. There's a hearing over in the House. And actually it was today. This one was today at 3:00. And I knew it was going to be after when I told you about it, but I wanted to bring you this information anyway. This is a hearing. And this is to direct the Joint Committee on the Library to replace the bust of Roger Brooke Taney in the old Supreme Court chamber of the United States Capitol with the bust of Thurgood Marshall. So I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to bring this to you because they want to replace this bust. There's a hearing to replace this bust. It was today. The bust of Roger Brooke Taney with the bust of Thurgood Marshall. And I'm like, who is this Roger Brooke Taney? And I looked him up. I just Googled him, a quick Google search. It's a deeply religious Roman Catholic who considered slavery an evil. He had freed the slaves he had inherited before he came to the Supreme Court. It was his belief, however, that slavery was a problem to be resolved gradually and chiefly by the states in which it existed. So they want to replace his bust. Another interesting fact that I found is why was Roger Taney considered a controversial nominee? He held the Missouri Compromise unconstitutional, claiming that as property, slaves were protected under Article 5. In addition to this unpopular opinion, Taney became even more disliked when he challenged President Lincoln's constitutional authority to apply certain emergency measures during the Civil War. So they want to replace the bust of him. This was a hearing that was held today. Replace the bust of Roger Brooke Taney with the bust of Thurgood Marshall. So that was a hearing that was held today. I'm quite interested to hear how it all worked out. Another congressional hearing is tomorrow, 10 a.m., tomorrow, Tuesday, June 29th at 10 a.m. The need to enhance the Voting Rights Act. This is the preliminary injunctions, bail-in coverage, election observers, and notice. So this is a bill in the House Judiciary Committee tomorrow morning. For those of you following the Voting Rights Act, this is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another hearing. I'm thinking about the bills that we won't get to today, but another hearing is tomorrow, again at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Tuesday, June 29th, 10 a.m. The State of Federal Wildland Fire Science, examining opportunities for further research and coordination. And you're like, Tamara, why are we talking about wildland fire science? I told you I take very special interest in food, air, water, and land. Now, everything else we can negotiate and we can get it right, but we're gonna have to get it right with food, air, water, and land. So this is a hearing for those of you that are interested. Tomorrow, June 29th, 10 a.m., the State of Federal Wildland Fire Science. And I looked it up because I'm interested in it. So I looked it up. It says fire science is fundamental to understanding the causes, consequences, and benefits of wildfire and helps prevent and manage larger catastrophic events. So I pay attention again to food, air, water, and land. Another hearing I thought that you might find interesting, and if you can make it, it'd be great to hear how these work out. But this is tomorrow, Tuesday, another one at 10 o'clock. This one was actually postponed. This is HR 4169, Black Farmers and Socially Disadvantaged Farmers Increased Market Share Act. So this was actually postponed, but we're going to keep our eyes on Congress so we can keep up when this hearing actually comes back around. So this is HR 4169, the House Agriculture Committee with Black farmers and quote unquote socially disadvantaged farmers. We've been following that because Joe Biden's attempt was blocked in federal court to help the disadvantaged farmers, Black farmers. So we're keeping our eyes on Congress, y'all. All righty. The next hearing is again Tuesday morning, tomorrow at 10 a.m. They're going to be busy tomorrow around there in Congress. A biased, broken system examining proposals to overhaul credit reporting to achieve equity. So this is in the House Financial Services Committee. It's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. A biased, broken system examining proposals to overhaul credit reporting to achieve equity. Yep, let's do it. Another hearing is on Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Clean Future Act, an electric transmission, delivering clean power to the people. This is over in the House Energy and Commerce Committee. House Energy and Commerce Committee, the Clean Future Act, an electric transmission, delivering clean power to the people. This is tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Another hearing is over in the House Financial Services Committee, House Financial Services, and I didn't understand why this was in the House Financial Services. The legacy of George Floyd, an examination of financial services industry commitments to economic and racial justice. I would like to know more. And it's the legacy of George Floyd, an examination of financial services industry commitments to economic and racial justice. Interesting. Tomorrow, y'all, Tuesday, June 29th at 3:00. June 29th, tomorrow, 3:00, the House Financial Services Committee. Another committee hearing on Wednesday, 10 a.m., the House Small Business Committee. House Small Business Committee is called Jobs, Jobs, Jobs. 3 jobs, 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 jobs. It's Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the House Small Business Committee. They're talking about jobs, y'all. We got about 2 more minutes, and I'll be over there with you, family. I'm going to finish up these hearings, and then I'm going to come over to Clubhouse, and we're going to chop it up over there. But this is America on Fire. Will the crypto frenzy lead to financial independence and early retirement or financial ruin? This is in the House Financial Services Committee. It's on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Wednesday at 10 a.m. America on Fire. Over in the House Oversight and Reform Committee, they have a hearing on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catalyst for Change, State and Local IT After the Pandemic. Catalyst for Change, State and Local IT After the Pandemic. House Oversight and Reform Committee, again, it's Wednesday, 10:00 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another one is a safe wireless future, securing our networks and supply chains. This is over in the House Energy and Commerce Committee. It's on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. House Energy and Commerce Committee, a safe wireless future, securing our networks and supply chains. A couple more. Transportation investments for solving the climate crisis. This is over in the House Select Committee on the Climate Crisis. It's called Transportation Investments for Solving the Climate Crisis. It's on Wednesday, June 30th at 2:00 p.m. Addressing climate as a systemic risk, the need to build resilience within our banking and financial systems. This is over in the House Financial Services Committee. It's on Wednesday, June 30th at 2:00 p.m. Addressing climate as a systemic risk, the need to build resilience within our banking and financial systems. Y'all, we got to pay attention. We got to keep up with Congress. What are they doing? What's happening in these hearings? All right, and my final one for the day is the hybrid hearing on building trust and battling barriers, the urgent need to overcome vaccine hesitancy. It's a hybrid hearing on building trust and battling barriers, the urgent need to overcome vaccine hesitancy. It's on Thursday, July 1st at 9:30 a.m. It's over in the House Oversight and Reform Committee. So again, like I say, we have to keep up with the players in Congress. We got to know the game they're playing, the policies that they're initiating. If we're going to get reparations, it will not be without negotiation. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I ask that you go to my website, check me out, look at where I stand on the issues. I'm committed to serving. This is not my first. This is not my second. This is not my third. This is not my fourth. This is my 5th run consecutively for office. I don't know what commitment looks like if that's not it. I think that's it. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I want to thank you two, for following me. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification button, and share. You know, I will be right back tomorrow at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you more of Keeping Up with Congress. Clubhouse, I'm coming over there, and we're going to chop it up until the top of the hour. And I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. The website, again, is tamara4georgia.com. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow, family.